Verna, Heath. Thank you for being here, Mia. Appreciate your time coming out on Tuesday evening. We're going to talk tonight about a company that's been around 45 years. I've been a part of it for 20 years. My background was dancing and twirling. I went through about 300 students a week, teaching every single day. Was raising 4 children and realized, you know, I don't get to be with my kids because I'm in the studio teaching other people's kids every single day. And it was tiring, but I did love it. But in the 90s, other people know this story, but I was just doing what I was supposed to be doing, going to work, raising kids. And 2 police officers walked up into my driveway, and I hadn't even gotten out of my car yet from picking my daughter up from band practice. She was 13. And the police officers came up and knocked on my window, and I turned and did this. And I rolled the window down a little bit, and they said, "Are you Verna Heath?" And I said, "Yes." So they said, "Well, we're Detective Helton and Sergeant Blackwell. We're from Narcotics and Crime. This is about your daughter. We need you to go in the house when you have something to talk to you about." And I'm looking at Amber at the age of 13 going, "What have you been doing?" And so we went into the house, and we sat down, and my children went in the back room. And they just said, "Do you know this woman?" Her name, I could say it doesn't matter, but I said, "Yeah, what's this about, cheerleading?" And they were shocked that I said that because I didn't know what they were there for, and they didn't know why I would say that, because the very reason they came was to tell me that over cheerleading of my daughter beating this other lady's daughter, she decided to hire somebody to have us murdered so my daughter couldn't try out anymore and beat her daughter. Who does that?
Well, it's a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, exactly. It was a Lifetime
I
movie.
mean, they made 2 movies over it, and that was complicated. But in my journey for those 7 years, I was raised, don't ever do anything bad enough to need an attorney, which is incorrect training. That's
right.
Wrong. It's not about what you do, it's about what somebody might do to you. Mm-hmm. And it's also, everything about the legal system is not bad. There are good things that happen in our lives where we would use an attorney, but we don't because they cost too much. I fell under that category of, I never used an attorney, I didn't know one, didn't really have the funds to afford one, and so I just fell into that trap of being taken advantage of over and over and over and not knowing my rights. Well, after 7 years, my friend asked me to come to one of these meetings. I didn't want to go. She pestered me for 2 months, and she wouldn't tell me what it was, which annoyed me to death. And I just said, "Polly, if you'll tell me what it is, I'll go to your stinking meeting." I'm sorry, but that's what I called it. And she, at the time, she said, "Well, it's prepaid legal." And I said, "Well, let me think here just a minute. I don't like attorneys, I don't like the legal system, and I'm not prepaying for it." That was my attitude. Well, I told her I would go if she'd tell me what it was, so I went. We were in the little kids' cafeteria at the Family Christian Academy with the little bitty tables and the little bitty chairs. We're sitting down here like this. And there's a police officer up in front of the room, no PowerPoint, none of this, explaining about our company and our service. And I had prayed for 5 years, "Oh my God, please let something positive come out of this craziness." And I didn't know what that was going to be, but as he started sharing, we all have hot buttons, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know what yours is. It could be you got a ticket, you need to do your will. I don't know what it is, but I know what mine was. Mine was, my friend had introduced me to an attorney. He was the wrong kind of attorney. He had me in more trouble than I was in before it all started. But I didn't know he was the wrong kind of attorney. So I had HBO suing me. Well, okay, I'm little peon Verna Heath. How I was supposed to fight HBO? So I did not know what to do. And I did not have the funds to call the right kind of attorney. So at this meeting, this police officer started telling me how I could pick up the phone, call a toll-free number, talk to any kind of attorney I need, ask questions, and never get a bill for it. That was my They said nothing else the entire night. I was like, how do I do this? Just tell me how to do it. So I enrolled, still skeptical, because then I thought, $26 a month? How do you get a good attorney for $26 a month when they're $200-300 an hour? How does that happen? So I was already skeptical again. Then they explained to me how that worked. And it's all of us together paying in just like we do our insurance. We don't all need it at the same time, but when we do, the pool of money is there. The company LegalShield is taking a third of the premium we all pay in every month and paying it to the law firm. And so they get a handsome fee every month dumped on their desk of about $1.3 million.
Wow.
So I'm a $1 million client. I'm your Oprah Winfrey. Except I have a better service than Oprah. Because I'm covered all over the nation in Canada, and I pay this small little fee. The mindset is, if it's not expensive, it must not be that good. I will never forget raising my children. My mother-in-law would take my kids shopping, and we would go to Foley's. Remember Foley's? Mm-hmm. And I'm always looking for sales. She goes, well, there's got to be something wrong with it. I'm like, no, it's just don't sell. It's called cheaper. So you give me the money that you're going to spend on the full price, and I'll go buy more cheaper clothes on the clearance rack. But, you know, that's just how I thought. I knew that attorneys were expensive, but today we are in a totally different place. You can forget the old mindset because it is going to, at some point, go away. Because people are going to be smart enough to know the way we're doing things today is way better than the old way of spending $200, $300, $400 an hour every time they have some issue come up. What you want to have in a business model when you're looking is it simple? Is it easy to use? Can I explain it? Is it something that I don't have to figure it all out to use it, right?
Right.
Disruptive means that something comes in and disturbs what is in place that we're used to, right? Mm-hmm. So they came in, they disrupted this old model of using attorneys to the new way, which I'm going to explain tonight. Noble just simply means good cause, integrity, above board, people like it, proud of it, respect it, correct?
Right.
They are not easily duplicated, and they have an app. So no, this is not easily duplicated what our company has created over the last 45 years. It would take someone forever to come in and get all these provider law firms to buy into what we have put in our infrastructure of the way we do things. And the cool thing about it is our new CEO, Jeff Bell, is incredibly high tech. And I'm not going to go into what all he is or does, but if you want to Google Jeff Bell, you will be so impressed, and it's so long you couldn't read it all anyway. It's crazy. One person has accomplished all that. So let's look at some examples of what I've been talking about. The taxi cab. I was in New York. I didn't even want to get in one of those things. It's so dirty. And then once you get in it, you're watching the meter. Click, click, click. I'm like, could you hurry and get there? Because that's like way expensive. Well, what's taking the place of taxi cabs? Uber. I used Uber. I went into my app store. I downloaded it. I went into my member perks. And I was in Atlanta at the airport. I got to the hotel. Well, going back to the airport, I needed a ride because the one I got going into the hotel, they had already left this event. So I thought, okay, this is my first time to use this. So I just went to my app. I put in where I was, where I needed to go. I got my luggage, went downstairs, turned right to go to the front door, and there was my Uber driver. Mm-hmm. I got in the car. 30 minutes to the airport, $6.95. Wow. And the car was way nicer than this. Blockbuster, my kids were raised at Blockbuster.
Every Friday night.
You know, they just had to have the movies, and I got to pay the late fees, and I'm like, kids, we're not getting another late fee. You either watch it while we have it, or it's going back. Because late fees can mount up. Well, what does replace Blockbuster? Netflix. You can have it on your television, on your phone. You can watch movies. And it's just a different way of disrupting the old way of doing things. Hotels, I love hotels. They're gorgeous. They can be very expensive. You can save money with our member perks. But there's a better way to do this. I love Greg's story of going to Las Vegas and staying in a mansion. And they all paid less for staying in this mansion than it would have cost to stay at the $200 a night hotel. Airbnb is disrupted the hotel way of doing things. Books. Everybody have a library card when you were growing up? And you always went to the library, or you went to the bookstore, Barnes and Nobles, you bought a book. Now many people don't even use books anymore. They use their iPad or whatever to read. But now that's been replaced with Amazon, and Amazon has taken on the world. You can do everything through Amazon. I have a friend, she never leaves her home. All of her Christmas shopping, all of her home decorating is, every day her front porch there's a package. And it's just an easier way of doing things. All the malls are going out. I mean, it's terrible. I hate to see these malls that are going out of business, because I do like going to the mall, but they have got a lot of companies that are shutting down because of Amazon. This is crazy, the old movie, cameras. And the film, thank you, couldn't think of the word. I mean, literally, you could lose your entire roll of pictures because they were exposed to the light. And then it was a pain, and you couldn't view the picture before you actually got it back. And then you got it back and you go, oh, that looks horrible. But today, because of Instagram, you can actually crop it, make yourself look younger, do all these things, filters. Oh my goodness, I love it. I just love that. So it's just a different way of doing things. Today, we know the legal profession is expensive, unresponsive, and unaccountable, the old way. Because if you had a legal issue and you'd gone out and hired an attorney and you had a problem with that attorney, who do you call? Not Blockbuster, not Ghostbuster, not anybody, maybe the American Bar Association, but you cannot get any help dealing really with that attorney. They take your money, and I've had more people over the years say, Verna, I paid that attorney $5,000 and I can't even get a phone call back. What's so great about our company is all of a sudden we've changed that. We are affordable. We are accountable, because LegalShield, this huge company out of Ada, Oklahoma, that created this for us, makes these attorneys accountable. They have to do what is in their contract with LegalShield, or they will no longer be a provider law firm. That's a cool thing. We have a complaint department, responsive. I mean, we want these attorneys, like if I enroll a member, Mia, if you enrolled as a member, there would be no sense in me enrolling you if I did not feel confident that the service that I'm enrolling you in would do what they said they were going to do, right? Because then you would just get rid of it because it doesn't work. And we don't want that. We want to make sure our product, which is the attorneys, do their jobs, and that's what LegalShield is there for. Our company, like I said, has been around 45 years, since 1972. We're in all 50 states and 4 provinces of Canada, founded by a gentleman that was just going to work one day, had a head-on collision. It was the lady's fault. She got the ticket, but guess what she did? She sued him because she could. You can be sued for anything. And what do you have to do when you're sued? That's right. You have to answer it. You have to get representation. And so that's what he did. But his whole vision was to change the way we do the legal system, the way we access our rights. And I know he always said the Supreme Courthouse is equal justice under law. But it's not true, because it's about the almighty dollar. It's all about how much money you have. We have many companies that have endorsed us over the years. These are a few. I know that Forbes picked our company as one of the top 20 companies to be an employee of. That's really nice for the employees of LegalShield. There's about 750 of them up at our home office that work on our behalf, which is a great thing. Our purpose is to protect and empower people. There's nothing better to know that you've helped somebody that has an issue, and you know that you helped them get it resolved, and they come back time after time and thank you, because everybody's issue is their issue. And everybody's issue, you don't know what level of problems it is, but to them it's a big problem. And we like being able to solve those issues. Our vision is to provide equal access to the liberty, equality, opportunity, and justice that every human deserves and expects. None of us want to go into a courthouse and be treated unfairly, correct?
Correct.
We would like to know that guilty is guilty and innocent is innocent. But I will tell you, going through that 7-year issue, I found out that is not true. It depends on your attorney. And I will tell you, even if you're a juror, you don't know things when you make a decision because they don't tell you. Like back in the day, the law was you had to get 15 years and a day before you stayed in jail until your appeal came up. Well, the jury gave her 15 years, not 15 years and a day. So she was out free for 5 years, living right around the corner from me. I know she had hired somebody to kill me.
Wow.
And I felt like I was in prison for 5 years.
Wow.
And the media wouldn't leave me alone. But the jury was on television going, we had no idea. We'd have given her that extra day. Well, they changed the law over that case.
Wow.
So now it's 10 years.
And a day.
And a day. I don't know what the day means, but anyway. Our mission is to help people improve their lives by teaching life-transforming skills and to deliver exceptional products and services to promote peace of mind. Peace of mind to me is everything in life. If you don't have peace of mind in your life, then you're constantly in turmoil. How many of you have been there? I don't know of one person that hasn't had some turmoil in their life and had the wrinkles on the brow going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I can promise you, I said that so many times, I couldn't even count them. But it's a feeling of desperation. And that's where we want people to know that through us, they can get help of not feeling that way. So let me ask you a question, several questions. How many of you ever signed a contract or document? Just everybody raise your hand. This is your only exercise for the night.
Keep it up.
Had a landlord-tenant issue, been overcharged, treated unfairly, received a traffic ticket. Is there anybody here who has not received a traffic ticket? Are you kidding me?
She doesn't drive.
You don't have a car. Needed your will prepared or updated. Now we know in our world, about 85% of the population do not have a valid legal will. And if you approach people like that, you don't go, do you have a will? You don't say that. You say 85% of the people in our country don't have a will. Do you have one in place? That makes people feel like the majority instead of the minority, and then they feel like they can be honest with you because they don't want to be embarrassed. Had a real estate transaction issue. Been a victim of identity theft or data breach that you know of.
Right.
Been concerned about your child's identity.
Yes.
I will just tell you, we are the mouth to go out and educate people because they don't know about this at all. So that's what our role is. So we have an app. How cool is it to just tap an app on your phone? And if you have your phone and I'm sorry I didn't do this earlier, but we all like to download our app on our phone. There's services there that you can use, even not being a member, that are free. So we normally have you download that, but I love the fact that you just tap this and it's going to take you right into the law firm. Now at the law firm in our state, thank you, we have a tax attorney, real estate attorney, family law attorney, criminal attorney, patent attorney, immigration attorney, all these different kinds of attorney. It's one-stop shopping. That big, huge law firm is where you always call first. They are going to take you through what you need to get you to the right place. So when you call, they're going to ask you your name, your membership number, and what is your reason for calling? Well, I need to talk to a tax attorney. They're going to give you a case number. They're going to take that and assign it to the right kind of attorney. You don't want a real estate attorney if you have a tax problem, and you don't want a tax attorney if you've been charged a criminal charge. You want a criminal attorney. So they're going to assign that to the right attorney. They're going to call you back within 8 business hours. Not 8 days, not 8 weeks, not maybe never. In their contract with the LegalShield, it's 8 business hours. And in the 20 years I've used my service, I've never been called back any longer than an hour. My very first phone call to them was to talk to an entertainment attorney because HBO had sued me, and even though it was pre-existing, I had a lot of questions. So skeptically, I enrolled, I called the toll-free number, and I'm sitting at my desk and my phone rang in 15 minutes. And I picked up the phone and went, hello, and she goes, are you Verna Heath? I said, yes, I am. She goes, well, I'm Stephanie Beamer from Ross and Matthews. I understand you have some questions. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. She goes, what do you mean? I said, I've never been called back that quickly. And I said, I have about 7 years of questions. Do you have time? She goes, well, as a matter of fact, I do. I started asking questions for 45 minutes.
Wow.
I'm talking to this attorney that for the first time in my life, is that warm and fuzzy feeling? It was the first time I was talking to an attorney that cared about solving my problem, not the dollar mark she was going to make, because she's already getting paid by LegalShield. So those questions she's answering for me, she already knows she's been paid. She's not thinking about that. She's thinking about resolving my problem. 45 minutes, no bill, and she said to me, Ms. Heath, that story was worth millions to your family with the right attorney. Now I'm sitting there with this feeling in my gut of, wow, the right attorney, $1 million, and my brain just went off in 1998 after that phone call. This is what I said to her. You know what, that is okay. I am going to go out and share this with as many people as I can, and that's how I'm going to earn my millions of dollars. I have never looked back. We have ups and downs in everything that we do, but the bottom line is they're there to help us no matter what, and so the phone calls was my hot button. And so I know I'm going to always call and ask questions if I have one. The letters and phone calls, there is nothing more powerful than to have an attorney make that call for you or write that letter for you instead of you trying to figure it out. Just say, I don't have to figure it out anymore. Really say it. I don't have to figure it out anymore. Isn't that peace of mind? Just call your attorney. Contracts and documents review, up to 15 pages. Okay, so I am 3 years into my business. We're going to Las Vegas. I'm earning my little ring. I get this phone call from A&E. They want to do a documentary on the cheerleader story.
Oh, wow.
Well, guess what? This was the first time I could say, you need to send me a contract. And I'm going to send it to my attorney. Felt so good. So they said, well, can we fly you out there and pay your hotel? I'm like, you sure can. Well, they never sent me the contract. I let them pay my hotel and I let them pay my airfare. I got out there and they had this whole room set up with lights, camera, action. They kept calling me on my cell phone. Are you going to come talk to us? I said, you never sent me a contract. They go, well, we have a contract here. I said, well, I bet I have an attorney here. Because all the law firms show up at our conventions. So I got Mr. Stonecipher on the phone, and he called Mr. Ross from Ross and Matthews. And I'm down in this room waiting with Cindy from A&E. She has no idea what's about to happen. In walks 3 attorneys in suits. Mr. Ross had on his big old white hat, and it was Mr. Ross and Mr. Matthews with an attorney from Mississippi that looked just like Abraham Lincoln. And here they come walking in. Way over there, they're walking in. She goes, who are they? And I still to this day have this feeling. I said, well, they're my attorneys. I mean, it was crazy, the feeling I had. They came over. How are you doing, Verna? I said, great. And I said, so do you have the contract? And she literally was shaken by this. So she handed Mr. Ross the contract. He sat at the table, took off the big old hat, and he started scratching out and rewriting. And I'm just sitting there watching. And at the end, he said, so how do you feel about this? I said, how do you feel about it? He goes, well, I feel great. I said, well, so do I. And so I took it and handed it back to Cindy. And she's standing there just like this, looking at it going, well, I don't have an attorney here. I said, well, I can enroll you on this case. And I thought those attorneys were going to fall out. I will just tell you, that was an amazing feeling. That knowing that I knew I had an attorney. And I was in Las Vegas. I wasn't in Texas, but we have attorneys there. So it was a cool situation. It didn't cost me a dime. Just my monthly membership fee. IRS audit assistance. I have been audited. How about you? Big Because of identity theft, you could be very easily, and it not even be you, but better to have an attorney that's educated in that area of law than you going by yourself or taking your CPA. Because a CPA cannot always doesn't have the attorney-client privilege that your tax attorney does. Civil trial defense, this is just if you're sued. In this particular area, we have hours that increase each year. You start out with 60 hours, and each year those hours increase. Our company rewards you for keeping your membership. So even though you're paying this membership fee, that never increases, but your service does. Now you tell me one other insurance on the face of the planet that does that. Hadn't thought of one. I've never come up with one. Just like in insurance, you got a spouse that costs more, you had children that cost more. So, but ours does not. So I have, and I was sued, but I have about $100,000 worth of trial defense hours sitting there in case I'm sued. And when I got sued, I didn't stress. It was delivered to my front door. I called Ross and Matthews, sent it over. They referred me out to Mr. Belk in Houston. I met with him, $350 an hour attorney. And after 2 weeks, he called me and said, Verna, the problem's been resolved. And the $850 bill was sent to Ross and Matthews, not my address, because it was a part of my notes. Family domestic services, this is where you just want to wait 90 more days putting up with your, well, insignificant other, I guess you might call it, that you don't like anymore. But if you wait 90 days for uncontested issues, then you will pay zero out of pocket for those under this new part of our plan. This is I'm a master at. Anybody else in here a professional ticket getter besides me? I don't mean to. I truly, but from teaching dancing and twirling all my life, my foot wants to point. It's very difficult to flex it when I'm driving. So I get these little tickets, but when I do, all I have to do is take a picture of it, it uploads on my phone, goes straight to the law firm, they call me back in 8 business hours, represent me at no charge. That does not mean we fix your ticket. What we do is get you the best option that we can. You do need to be driving legally, which speeding is not legal, but I wasn't drinking, so, and I was properly insured and had my driver's license. One more thing on that piece that I do want to say that many times we overlook. Under this part of our service, I don't know if you've noticed the marquees around the Beltway or 610 that say so many people have died in the state of Texas so far this year. Are more people going to die this year due to people drinking and driving or whatever reason? This is so important because if you know somebody that it's happened to, which I have, but they didn't have the membership because I didn't tell them, it makes you feel like a real creep. Because under our plan, if you are in a wreck and somebody dies and you're charged criminally, we pay all of your attorney fees. And that can be $15,000, $20,000 retainer fee, where with this, they're not going to pay any out of pocket for attorney fees, they will pay their court fee. Preparing your will, like I said before, 85% of the people don't have one. We have a solution. There is no excuse anymore to not get those 4 documents done because this does not cost you anything over and above your membership. So why in the world would we not do it?
No reason.
No reason. And you can do it right here on the app on your phone.
Complex will as well as simple will, or just simple will?
We do the will that you fill out and send in. Things that are more complicated would be at a 25% discount. And we do trust at a 25% discount. But the great thing about it is you can work on it and then come back to it. It saves on that app, or you can fill out the paper app. And with that, all you do is send it back to them. They prepare it. They send it back to you for your review. Make sure it's the way you want it. Get it notarized, and I will promise you need to always record it with the courts. I went through a situation with my grandmother. We couldn't find her will, no will, and ended up just destroying some things with my family. The 24/7 emergency access, we have Miranda rights. What are the Miranda rights? You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to call your what? Okay, how many people have an attorney at 2 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day or New Year's just to pick up the phone and call? Not LegalShield. We have the power in our hand, on our phone, 24/7, 365, if we are in a situation or our children are in a situation, I don't think anymore about not having a way to fix it. That's the coolest thing. I know that I have a way to fix it. I may not always get the answer I want, but I'm gonna get the legal answer. And I just like the fact that I have told my children, don't you ever not have this membership, and they've used it over and over and over. But when you are questioned, detained, or arrested, if you're in a wreck, if you, CPS is trying to take away your children, even if you want them to take them, or if you have a warrant. Now, why might you have a warrant for your arrest? Because possibly somebody stole your identity, got a fake ID, got a ticket, didn't show up in court, now you have the warrant. You don't know you have a warrant until the police officer comes back and says, please step out of the car, and they take you to jail. This is where you want to use your emergency line. Now, contingency fees, this is where the case is such that the law firm, the attorneys feel that they can win. And there's going to be money received. And from that money being received, they take their part of it. So you pay no out of pocket for a contingency case. And that is up to them, their discretion as to whether they will do that or not. Things that are covered at a discount. So when somebody asks me, do you cover everything? Yes, we do. It's either 90% of the things we do are covered and about 10% are covered at a discount. Either way, is that better than the old way?
Yes.
Absolutely. So don't be afraid of this part because I love discounts. So if you're driving while drinking or drunk, if bankruptcy, contested adoption, contested divorce, if you want to sue someone, those things will be at a discount. The cool thing is you don't ever have to wonder who you're going to call. And you don't ever have to wonder if you're going to get a good attorney or not. So that is our legal plan. And with the app, we have what we call member perks. Now let me tell you about member perks quickly. If you could save money on things you spend money on every month anyway, would you do it?
Right.
I would hope. So if I can show you a way to save money on about 450 companies just by using your member perks app, saving money on your cell phone, your cable, your prescription drug, a tire, going to the movie, a hotel, all you have to do is use it, download the app, and be a member of LegalShield, and you will have access to those perks. And who is covered? Your family, you, your spouse or significant other, as long as they're living at the same address, your children under 26 living at home never married, or full-time college students. Students off at college are always could be in trouble. So they're covered. If you have a child that you're legal guardian of, they're covered until they're 18. Or if you have a physically or mentally handicapped child, they're covered for life as long as they live in your home. And no other insurance company does that the rate's not increased. You want to choose the picture with the guy with no head that's going to charge you at least $250 an hour, or about $1 a day with a law firm or law firms across the nation that are proud to represent our company, help our members, and that is the entire reason they went to college to become an attorney, was to help people. The whole money thing, dollar marks got in the way. So the only people that can be in this country club are the wealthy. We have our own country club with LegalShield, and you can be a part of that country club by just a little amount of money, and I'll tell you in a second. With all the recent days of breaches, and because we have given out our information our entire lives to somebody, correct? We have a social, we have a birth date, we have a bank account, we have all these things that we've given out to people. You cannot and we cannot prevent identity theft. That is not what we do. Let me show you what we do. We monitor. The #1 risk management company in the world, Kroll, K-R-O-L-L, called us back in 2003 because 70% of the time they were helping a victim, that person had to hire an attorney because of all the different types of identity theft. So like I said, somebody commits a crime in your name, you'll need a criminal attorney, right?
Yeah.
If somebody uses your tax information, files fraudulent tax, or gets a job using your name, and you get a bill from the IRS that is not even the amount of money that you even made that year, you're going to need a tax attorney. We have an app for this. It shows your credit score. I had a gentleman on my team yesterday that just used the membership because Verizon had him owning a phone. He's got T-Mobile. And he said, none of these are my charges. It was hurting his credit. He called Kroll yesterday, talked to a private investigator. He said it was the coolest thing I've ever experienced. Because in the difference in this professional doing it was he had access to these different repositories and Verizon immediately. So it's just like, boop, supervisor's on the phone. Hey, I'm from Kroll. You've got this information incorrect on this young man's credit score. We need to get this corrected now. Boop, it's done. Boop, call this other thing. It's all corrected while this young man is on the phone listening to this professional take care of all of this. Zero out of pocket. It was all a part of his membership. Now, which way do you want to do it? All by your lonesome or let the pros do it? This is what we monitor. Do you have any of that stuff? Would you like to know somebody's watching your back?
Yes.
And all you have to do is tap the app. They're going to alert you if there's any suspicious activity. There's going to be a place you can call your advisor. We also have a place, ID Shield Vault, that stores your passwords. I know that I am a problem with all of that stuff, but they're going to store that for you. And our contract with Kroll all these years has been for them to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes, take you from victim to pre-theft status. Does that sound good? So we have two apps. Do you think the information I've shared tonight is valuable to protect your family?
Yes.
Is it valuable? Would you tell somebody about it?
Absolutely.
You know, have you ever seen something like a fire? There's a fire, a house is burning down. What do?
Tell somebody or call 911.
You run. You call 911. You're in urgent emergency mode, right?
Yes.
After I've shared all of this with you tonight, why in the world wouldn't we be in urgent emergency mode to tell everybody we know?
You're right.
For $49.90 a month for a whole family, how much do you pay for your cable?
Way more.
To entertain your family, but you're telling me you're not going to spend that to protect them? When anything in life can happen, or for an individual, $34.90. It is not an expense. It is an investment. When you see it on your bank account, you should go, thank you, Jesus, I am protected. And so is my family. What does the membership cost you every month? Well, I don't know. How many of you in here have a family? If you had your phone out, and we click learn more on the app and we want to see your savings, Mia, if you don't mind me asking you, do you have a family? Do you have a spouse?
Husband and dogs, yes.
Okay, so the husband counts the dogs. We don't have pet insurance yet. But we would have two. And how many movies do you go to the movie?
A lot.
A lot? Cool. What about, sorry, I messed this up. What about dining out?
Every once in a while.
How many people dine out? A lot?
Not a lot.
A couple times a month.
Or you buy clothes. So just those things. This doesn't have to do with all the other. But you can save more money using this than your membership cost.
$177.96 is what my family saves for hers of 3.
Wow.
And the membership is $49.90. Yeah. So it's definitely worth it. You can join now. The person that invited you, Mia, has an app. They can send you the link, and you can enroll right there on your phone. Or we have paper. Or we have computer. There's all kinds of ways for us today to get our protection. And, you know, don't ever walk out the door and think nothing's going to happen. Things happen in life. These are the links that you go to because, goodness gracious, if you were at Super Saturday, wasn't that amazing?
It was
Amazing. Have an amazing networking vice president. These are so easy to go to and RSVP if you're going, because then we can see how many people are going to be at the event. Plus, if you invite someone, they're going to be able to RSVP, and then it reminds them. The event's Tuesday night. It tells them where it is. So it's just a great way for us to have more guests. there's that more small print. Well, it's not that small. But I'm gonna go back to this just to make sure everybody sees these. We do
Yeah, so
have-
the way it works real quick, guys, these are some URLs that we created just to make it much easier to remember because some folks were getting confused with the rebrandly and stuff. So this is just a little bit easier. It rolls off the tongue, you know, it's lsnorthhouston.com so that you can share these. It's the same setup with the Hobnob app. And like she said, it gives you a reminder. As she said, these are just a little easier to remember. And then of course, so this one's every Tuesday night. LS Latino is Wednesday night. LS Cyprus is Thursday night. And Saturday, I didn't update it yet because I'm waiting for the details, you know. So this one hasn't been updated just yet, but the rest of them are for this week.
Is everybody cool?
Yes.
Okay, thank y'all so